Jumbo and good morning, everyone. Welcome to our very last episode of Safari Mack in Africa. Since we've begun our journey with your guide and host who has been helping you make connections to the wild, we've uncovered many different secrets of a group of animals which have been famously called the Big Five. These included the leopard, the rhino, the elephant, the buffalo, and more recently, the African lion. Ladies and gentlemen, it's with great reluctance that we have to say goodbye to the African lion. But if we're all ready, we are going to continue. We're going to finish up with the lion, and then we'll begin making our long journey across the oceans to get to South America. So, if we're all ready to go, let's begin our prowl with wild things. Now, as you recall, I said how lions at one point used to be found in Europe, Asia, and Africa. Now, lions in Europe are extinct, while lions are found in Africa, and there is another subspecies called the Asiatic lion. But now, these lions are completely different than their African cousins. For one, at one point, the Asiatic lion was found all across throughout the Middle East and parts of India. But today, you would only find Asiatic lions living in Gujarat's Gir forest, which you can find up in northwestern India. Now, these lions live a completely different lifestyle than their African cousins. As you can see, the males, their manes are not fully developed as you may think. And another wild thing, males don't live with the females. Instead, male lions are considered to be completely solitary, or they live with another male, or can form loose prides, or let's just say loose bachelor groups. Now, for a male lion, though, growing up includes growing a mane. They're the only cats in the world that have this stunning feature, which makes them the only sexually dimorphic cat, just simply meaning you can easily tell the difference between the two. Now, in East Africa, in an area called Tsavo, lions living in that area actually have very little or no mane at all. Some scientists think that this is a form of keeping cool, while some believe this could be a form of a different subspecies of lions. So as you can see, there are considered to be like East African lions, South African lions, West African lions, and so on and so forth. But now, for a male lion, having a thick bushing mane makes them look like they're the biggest, strongest things in the world. But there are other features. If they were in a fight with other cats, the typical nature of a cat says to either go for the bite either at the throat or at the top of their neck. But now with all that hair around, it makes it kind of hard for them to get a good grip on. So this is not only a form of protection, but it's also considered to be a symbol of a feature of their status. So what do I mean by that? As male lions get older, their manes begin to develop more, and they actually begin to darken, which can make it as a form of dominance. In fact, darker manes, a study revealed that females are more attracted to males whose manes were darker than others. Now, of course, lions aren't just about hunting and fighting. It's also about, well, lying around. Lions are known to spend nearly up to 20 hours a day just sleeping. That's right, 20 hours. Now, it's not exactly like getting a solid 8 hours of sleep like we would like to. Instead, it's very intermittent, or it's broken up throughout the day. So they might be up a little bit in the morning, they may be up a little bit at night, maybe all night, but only for a few hours of the day. It's not that they're lazy, it's because of their habitat. Lions are more adapted to living in a hot and humid condition. But now, here's another pretty wild thing about lions. You may recall that I said in my previous episode that male lions fight off other males that are trying to take over, and that females also don't even like having other females join their pride. So how can they be sure that each is their own? Lions typically lick themselves or lick each other to leave a kind of scent. That way, everybody recognizes the scent, and that way, one sniff, they can tell either if it's one of their own or if it's an outsider. Now, unfortunately, today, lions, despite their popularity and even being immortalized in the stars and in folklore and myth and legend, of course, as well as being popular in media, lions still face threats and challenges as every other creature does that I've mentioned in our first expedition in Africa. So as you can see here, lions had a pretty more expansive outreach throughout Africa. But today, lions are only found in different spots of Africa, and their habitats are severely separated. So they're living in smaller areas, and that can create a big problem as the habitat degradation that I've mentioned a few times in this episode. It closes off their ability to roam freely, and if there are a lot of animals that are somewhat related to them, it can cause inbreeding, and that can take a heavy toll on their population in keeping healthy and be able to survive challenges like habitat or climate change and such. But it's still harder. Lions are subject to poaching for their beautiful skins as well as for their body parts like their teeth or their claws, which can sell for a hefty price on the underground market. Also, while it's not considered to be legal, I mean, the people do pay for trophy hunting, it is being heavily frowned upon, especially with one particular male lion that was named Cecil, who was shot by a dentist. Now, I'm not trying to raise any anger with this. I'm only just stating how when that happened, everybody just had a big frown and everybody was just angry about it. So, trophy hunting of big cats has led to questioning into wondering if we're doing the right thing. But now remember, trophy hunting, it's not the greatest thing in the world, and I don't really support it much, but it can help communities as well as habitats. It can it can keep populations in check, and with the heavy prices that people have to pay to do this, it can bring a source of income, but it's still not exactly the best thing to look at. But there's one other thing that I didn't mention. In East Africa, a group of people called the Maasai, Massaii, or Masaii, they had originally, for thousands of years, they had an ancient tradition where a boy who was about to go through a rite of passage to become a man, it was his right to go out and kill a lion to show a symbol of his courage and his cunning. But now we're actually changing that. First of all, we gotta ask, how are we helping to keep these animals safe for the next 100 years? Zoos are doing a better job of keeping these animals healthier. For you see, a long time ago, you may have had a lion that came from East Africa maybe breed with another lion that came from South Africa, and that could create mutts. Now, it sounds okay with dogs or other animals, but it's not great when you're trying to preserve wildlife because it can mess up the gene pool, it can cause gene pool pollution, and it can create other problems along the line. So those animals are going out, but purebred animals, so lions that can have their origins traced back to South Africa or wherever they're from, is a more efficient way of keeping them safe. But now there are other ways of how we're helping them. The Maasai have changed their traditions from killing lions to preserving lions, and they've even begun a special Maasai Olympics. To learn more about this, be sure to check out the link that you'll find down in the description below and see how this helped lions overall. Another form of how we're helping them is they're building wildlife corridors. So with these additional pieces of land that can stretch from protected area to protected area, we can allow animals to roam freely somewhat without human interference, and they can breed with other animals that they're not related to, thus preserving a healthier genetic pool population. Lions have been around for thousands of years. Let's hope that we can keep them around for much longer than that. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for my first journey in Africa. Be sure to hit the like and subscribe button, check out my Facebook page, and send me a question by an email, which you'll find in the link down below. But until we come back to Africa again, this is Safari Mack, and I'll see you all out there. Now we begin our journey to South America.